We're live. How you doing? Something different for you today, and I want you to stay around. This one might be a bit different. This is all about youth crime and how we can help youth. Now, I don't know if you know, but around about, I think it was 2 months ago, a young kid come into the shop that I worked after being trespassed and actually punched me in the face. And followed in shortly behind him was another guy who decided that he would also come in with a balaclava on and also have a go at me, punch me, knock my glasses with my face, and broke the glasses. Now, not much has happened since then, but I did have the young kid ring me, asking me to take the video down that has now had 5 million views on TikTok and Instagram and also YouTube because he was getting threats from his peers. And I told him that maybe he should go along and have a word to the police if he was concerned about his welfare. A lot hasn't really happened since then. In fact, the police have basically said they can't take him to court because he's 14. His accomplice, who is 16 years of age, has got a criminal record, and his family was ringing me up, begging me to actually do and push the police into pressing charges so that he could be put into a youth program. So it took 3 weeks for the police to contact me. I have got a recording of me talking to the police. I'm not going to play that, but I will keep that in case this story ever gets a bit larger. But I do have a recording of the young guy ringing me up, asking me to take the video down. And I've given that video to what I call an expert in the industry. He's an 81-year-old school teacher, has a bit of a potty mouth on him. But when he rang me up, he actually rang me up because he wanted a coffee grinder because I do drop shipping. And to my surprise, he had one hell of a good voice. And I thought, I want to hear what you feel about watching this video of this young kid and also the way that I acted. Did I act like a responsible adult? So I've got the recording of the young guy who rung me. I'm going to play that. But I've also got the video all ready to go just to show you actually what happened. And I won't play it in its entirety. Well, I will actually, but you can go and watch it in your own choice. So just to give you a bit of a background, 7 days prior, these kids on the school holidays, which is coincidentally why it's made me think about this, the school holidays are on right at the moment. I'm just going to check my sound to make sure that I'm coming across with the right type of sound. It sounds like I've got it good. So it is. So hopefully you'll hear the sound. But for 7 days prior, the kids have been coming past and running down the street of all the shops in a row and hitting the signs at the top, jumping up in the air and trying to smash the sign to see if they could hit it. And we went out there and basically said to them, don't do that anymore, because if you break our sign, you won't be able to afford to get it fixed, and they are expensive. The young guy got right up in my face and said, what are you going to do about it, mister? And then I told him what I'd do about it. And then he pushed me and he kicked me. And then another shop assistant came out and shoved them off down the street. 50 minutes later, these kids came back and started doing the same thing again. And I thought it would be a good idea to have a bit of a deterrent. And I threw some water over them as I was jumping over the sign. The police said that I antagonized them. And the guy that came into the shop after I walked up to him and trespassed him, which you'll see in a second, then because I sucker punched him, telling him that I could have punched him and I could kill him because I'm an adult, that his friend come in with a balaclava on and also had a go at me to protect his friend. That's what the police insinuated, that I was basically at fault. But we had had enough, and we basically tried to reason with the kids, and they weren't having a bar of it. And then at the end of it, nothing really has happened. It took 3 weeks for the police to actually come and take a statement. The kids returned 3 times since then, and they haven't been back since. However, we did have some other youth who have seen our TikTok, and they come in the other day and they asked us if they could charge their cell phone in the premises, and we get people sticking their head in the door and saying silly things. We get their girlfriends coming past and yelling things in the door, and we still feel intimidated by these 14 and 16-year-old kids, to be honest. However, let's just have a listen so you can sort of get a bit of the picture, and I'll paint a bit of a background. You have formerly been trespassed from the shop. So I told the kid, I walked up to him with the cell phone on, and I said, you've been formally trespassed from the shop, and then he looked at me and just punched me in the face.
Like that, you did, mate.
And then I sucker punched him, which you'll see in a few minutes, saying that I could hit you, mate, but I'm not going to because I'm an adult. I know better. I had time to think about it, and I didn't want to, but I could have hit him, and an adult's punch could kill a kid.
We can't. Yeah. No, we've got cameras in here.
I don't care.
You'll be dead.
So you might have heard that. That's it. That was me saying, "Is that your punch, mate?" But anyway, this is the whole lot. I'm going to turn the music down. I put music on the background, but I don't want that now. And let's carry on playing. So this is the kids have just ran past then and jumped on the sign. I said to Steve, my boss, my friend, I said, "Why don't we get some water?" And they do it again. And the car that is out there is just a customer who's watching this, who's trying to drive off, trying to think of what's happening. They can't actually see me because there is actually signage on the window, and I'm waiting for one of them to go past again, and they're going to jump on the sign. And as far as my knowledge, right here, I'm thinking that the kid's about to run and do it again. And as you can see, as he grunts, and anyway, he stopped, and then we went in. We thought it was quite funny, and then Steve goes out. And then the other kid, I don't know why Steve did this, but anyway, the kid walked right past him. He walked into the shop, intimidate me. That's fine. He's not trespassed there. But then he thought he'd take the liberty. And I said, "You're not allowed to be in here. Leave." I started up my cell phone. And then I said to him, "You're formally trespassed from the shop." And the reason I did that is because I know that if I had a recording, he reckons he's just trying to knock the cell phone out of my hand. That was me sucker punching him. And then in comes his mate, all dressed up in a balaclava, all ready to go. He's 16, and he punched me in the face. And then I thought, stuff you. So then he kicked me, and then I thought, right, I'm after you both. So I chased the other guy around the shop, as you do, picked him up. I could have thrown him into a cabinet, but I lost my temper. I picked him up. My mate comes out with a bicycle carrier, not a crowbar. And then we pushed them out the shop, and I give them a boot. Now, the reason I'm trying to get them out of the shop, because I just want to shut the door and lock ourselves in there. And, and then you can see it from a different angle here. I am retreating, but it didn't matter. He still kicked me. And obviously, I chased the guy around the shop. You can see his mate was going to come and have a go. Then my mate come out with a crowbar or a thing that looks like, and then in comes the third guy. We've got two girls outside who are the girlfriends. And then he's lippy as hell. And as you see, I kicked him out the shop. So that's the scenario. Now, the next thing is I have got a recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to myself, and I'm going to ring up our friend who's just sent me a message saying, "Let's go." And we'll give him a ring, and we'll see how we get on. Hopefully you'll hear everything well. He's going to remain anonymous as well.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks for letting me give you a ring. You're absolutely awesome.
That's fine. No, good. Nice to talk to you, Danny.
Yeah. Now,
are we live? Are we live now?
We are live.
Okay, that's good.
I've played the video and I've showed them the kid in the shop, but I haven't played the recording that we've got from the boy. I thought we'd listen to that together if that works out all right for you.
That works all right. That's good. Mm.
So, what was your first impression when you saw the video of the kids doing their thing? Do you think?
We'll be right back.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Don't go to sleep on me. That's an elephant. I don't know why, but I like elephants. I think it's because my mum said no one's talking about the elephant in the room. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and you don't want to or even think about changing the record. I've got some really cool sound effects, and I just had to find a place to use them. I can do explosions. I've even got a gunshot and a boom. Isn't that quite cool? Anyway, I just wanted to wake you up. Wake up, and we'll get into it. And by the way, just grab a drink. I'm going to grab a glass of champagne. Let's carry on. That's good. All right. Grab a coffee if you like one as well.
What I saw was young minds in a state of chaos. Chaos and excitement and fear and boredom. Just the what you'd expect from an adolescent who hasn't had enough patterned training or attention and care given to how he's growing.
Yeah.
I saw symptoms of neglect and frustration and sadness.
Yeah, no, I went far behind you on that, to be honest. Now, just so people know your background and what you, I have explained to people you love coffee, and you rang me up originally for a coffee grinder. But,
I just had one.
Yeah, but I also said that when we talked, I really thoroughly, I thought you had a great voice, good for podcasting, which we're going to make a podcast out of this. And but you said that you're a teacher for 25 years of your life, and you're currently.
Yeah, I taught high school around Auckland at single-sex boys' schools, liberal co-ed state schools, and inner-city liberal co-ed schools. And I was a guidance counselor for a year. And I've worked in mental health, and I've worked as a scientist for 7 years at the beginning of after I left university, before I went teaching. Teaching was my favorite vocational activity. Yeah, high school teaching.
No, that sounds all good to me. So what I thought we'd do, because we've watched the videos, people have just watched the video, they saw the kids.
Yeah.
I explained the background, how we actually had hassles with them for the 7 days prior. We tried to tell them semi-nicely. I weren't the nicest person in the world, I'll admit. And then they told me, what am I going to do about it? Got up in my face.
I think from what we're about to hear of your interview with the boy, that you are a much nicer person than you just suggested. But carry on.
All right, cool. So I thought we'd listen to the recording of the kid. And we've also got the mother who's also got on the phone afterwards, and we'll do that later on. But let's just take it. You tell me when you want to stop and listen, and we'll just take it from there, right?
The thing is, if you play, I think it might be a bit tedious for the listener, for the audience of the blog, to listen to the entire interview with the boy, because it takes a long time, and it's and there are points in it where comment would be, I think, useful if you're doing the blog. It'd be useful to stop and comment if that's possible as we go through. Is that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sense? So what we do is we put timestamps in it. So this is a YouTube video, and I'm actually doing it live. And what I do is I go back and I put timestamps in it. So anything that's like major, then we'll put a timestamp so people can scoot to that part they want to listen to. So it doesn't really matter if we waffle on a wee bit and they get bored, because they can just fast forward to the bit they want to hear.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, whatever.
All right, that's fine. Let's rock and roll, eh? Let's see what happens. Let's go. Okay, here we go. You've been asked to leave because you're not doing any good. You've been trespassed, so you don't get trespassed from a mall.
What did I get trespassed for?
It doesn't actually matter. Just want to reiterate that after the event happened, we went off to the local shopping mall, and I said to the security guards, you might want to have a lookout for these young kids. They said, we know those kids. They've already been trespassed previously. They're actually been in here 5 minutes ago.
That's all right. That's not interesting. What's interesting is that the boy challenged you. He asked you. He's asking to be guided already. Yeah. What did I get? What did I get trespassed for? He knows very well, but he doesn't know how to couch it. He's asking you to help him describe his own behavior. In other words, he's looking for guidance. If people had any brains, they would see that.
I love
Instead of thinking that he was cheeky.
Yeah, well,
he's
just
not
a nuisance.
Cheeky. He's exposing his uncertainty.
Yeah,
it's a gift. It's a gift to you as an unconscious mentor that he is presenting in this way to you.
I like that.
He's asking to be scooped up and redirected.
That's the interesting thing. After talking to the police, they said, do you want a victim to make a victim statement report? And I said, well, I'd actually like to sit in a round room with the young fella.
Yeah, that's right.
And have a yarn. So that hasn't happened.
In other words, the police offered for you to help punish him, and you did the right thing, which is to say, no, I want to help redirect him.
Yeah.
And this is what I am about. It's an oversimplification. But instead of instead of addressing the behavior's effect on everybody else, I'm addressing the effect of the behavior on the person who's committed it, who's done it, because they're the ones you want to change. You're not trying to. You're not. What's the point in giving satisfaction to the shopkeeper or the mall keeper, the so-say victims of this very disturbed and desperately needy other human? It's the bad boy that needs the attention, not the the victim. Yeah, okay, but it's nothing to what he's going through. He's got an empty, chaotic life, and you've got an ordered, sensible life that was disturbed for a little bit because of his dysfunction.
Yeah.
It's his dysfunction that needs the attention, not you, not the mall or you. Even though I respect your.
Yeah, that's all right. No, it's all right. So let's listen to some more anyway and see what other.
Go ahead.
You just yell out
Yeah,
when you want me to stop.
Stop me when I talk too much, because I have had coffee.
So have I. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Because it's when you go to the security in the mall, and I went in there after you guys had left the shop, and I said to you guys, I said to these guys, I said, here's a photo of these guys. And they said, oh, yeah, they've been trespassed from the mall. And they said they just left 5 minutes ago and you went off to the bus stop.
Yeah.
So I went off to the bus stop to look for you.
Mm.
So you're saying you did nothing wrong and the mall just decided to trespass you?
Yes.
Why would they do that?
I'm not explaining the whole story, because you'll probably just end up making it out of it and posting on your YouTube or something.
Couldn't help myself. Well, I mean, if you've rang up and asked me to take the video down and then you're watching a video, I mean, I don't know what planet you're on, but if you're watching a video where you striked me, whether you were allegedly trying to knock my phone out of my hand, or you were in a shop when I say to you, this is how it works, right? If I walk up to you and you're on my property and I say you're formally trespassed from the building, that means that you have to leave. And if you don't leave, the police have the right to come along and take you away. The next time you step foot in the shop and I tell you to leave and you refuse to, when they take you away, they have a right to lock you up and keep you overnight until you appear in court, regardless of your age. Because I know how the law works on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said to you, you're formally trespassed from the shop.
Yes. So
you would go away and tell somebody else that you've just met that I don't know why that guy's trespassed me from the shop, because you striked a $2,500 phone. Well, you're going by what you're saying. Yes. You striked a $2,500 phone out of my hand, or tried to, because why? Why did you do that?
Because you were videoing me.
And where was I videoing you?
In your shop.
And did I ask you to leave the shop?
Yes, you did.
And why didn't you leave?
Because I didn't want to.
Well, why do you have a choice to stay in a shop when I've asked you to leave? I've given you a fair go.
What?
Why did you not leave it's not your shop. It's not the public shop. It's like our property. So we've asked you to leave and you've refused to leave, but then you've struck my phone out of my hand. I mean, I'm not trying to be horrible to you, mate, but what part of that do you think is right or wrong?
Yeah, I already know what's wrong with that.
Look, I've got no beef with you, and I don't even care that you've punched me, or, in your words, tried to knock my phone at that. But your other mate come in and he did punch me, clearly. You didn't leave the shop. You stood there. I chased you around the shop. I had to pick you up and throw you out of the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And you still think that we've got the problem?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
What do you think of that so far?
Yeah, well, that's a key point. I was going to interrupt.
Yeah.
He says, I don't know.
When he said any more, does that mean he's been going through it with his parents, you reckon? Or who do you think he's been talking to get that any more comment?
I didn't hear the end anymore. What was that?
Oh, he said, I don't know anymore. It's kind of like he's obviously had some telling off by somebody, or somebody's given
It's not clear. It doesn't matter. What's important is that he's expressing his humility, his ignorance, his uncertainty. He's again asking for help, just as he did in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's not being aggressive and assertive. You've effectively, in spite of yourself, you've skillfully talked him down, or unconsciously, you've talked him down from the aggressive state he was in when he came into the shop to do all the crap he did. And you've got him like putty in your hands in a way, like you've done the job of a counselor, being gentle enough to disarm him, which actually doesn't take very much, even for an apparently quite tough kid here, to get him to show how his vulnerability. Like he's not even very good at defending himself, and he's not even.
We went back to kid status, didn't he?
Concerned about it.
He did. He did. Went
He's
back
regressed.
And when he originally
a needy child.
When he originally rang me up, he wasn't like this. I didn't record the conversation until about 5 minutes in, and then I got my recording gear and all that sort of stuff. But his whole demeanor from the whole conversation was actually about the same. And it was just like he was cool, calm, and collected enough to ring up and have a conversation with an adult, like he was an adult. But then he obviously...
Did he ring you?
Yeah, no, he rang me because he wanted the video removed because he was getting death threats from his friends.
Yeah.
So
he's it shows you that he's really at sea. He's not even aware of how bad he was, in the moment.
And I don't know because
he needs help. He needs help so badly that it's not funny.
Yeah, I think
and you're talking about, and it's not your fault, but you're talking about what we do is, if you do that again, we'll lock you in a cell overnight. How is that addressing this kid's needs?
Yeah.
And if they're not addressed, he'll become a worse, more destructive person and criminal. And that's what we do. Can you believe it? Can you believe how short-sighted we are in the face of youth dysfunction, which is what this is? Let's forget it. Just for the moment, take our eye off the broken post outside the ram raid. What the hell's going on that he did it? Does a reasonably well-adjusted kid get up at 2 a.m. and smash the community up? No. He's seriously. If that isn't a call for help, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-year-old throwing this plate across the room and smashing it because something or other.
Yeah.
He's Anyway, enough about that.
All right, let's carry on with it. Here we go. 600 so far in the last 24 hours. 600,000 people have watched you, and I've got the video everywhere.
Yeah.
My goal is to actually hope that do you really want to have a criminal record and go in and out of the justice system all your life?
I already am. I don't really.
The guy that owns the shop.
Can you stop it there?
No.
Yep. Well, there we go.
All right.
Yep.
That shows that he's, again, how needy he is, and he's virtually given up. He doesn't have the resources to deal with the effects of his behavior. He's out of control, and he's basically saying, in other words, I don't know what to do. I'm lost.
Yeah.
The structures that most kids have fallen away around me, and I'm at sea. I mean, what more do we need? What more do you want before you're allowing him to have more time with an older person, perhaps a male if he only has a mother, to talk to him about how the world works and how he can adjust to it, how he can manage. He doesn't know how to manage his life, and he's saying it. he's saying that he's already lost, and I'm repeating myself, but and the idea that he's not at school is just horrendous.
Yeah.
Malfeasance on the part of the entire youth justice care education system of this country. And there are hundreds of boys, because they're the destructive ones more, who are out of school when they need 4 years more of education.
Yeah, well, I left school pretty young. I was 14 when I left school. And what people may not realize, I had a sister who went down basically the same track as him, and that was my big moment. Like when I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, oh, you could be my sister. And that's what sort of got me thinking.
That would confuse him.
Yeah, it would. I know, but it was like, oh my goodness. Oh well, let's carry on. See what he says.
Come on. Yeah.
Let's do it.
He's 2 or 3 times worse than you'd ever been at your age. He was brought up in foster homes. He's had one hell of a life.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kept himself clean. He's managed to get himself a business. And you young fellas go in there and you want to ruin our signs and you want to cause disruption. You don't care about our business. You don't care about what we're doing. And you're just bored. And you think you have a right to go down there and smash all the signs all the way down the street.
I mean, if it's so
I want to point out something here that's quite important.
Yep.
Is that in society we often point to people who've gone to prison or who've had a terrible time as a child. Point out the ones who have succeeded in spite of that, as if everybody who has a similar beginning or deprivation is capable of the same thing, and they're not. The thing is that you're using the exceptionally capable people as examples doesn't really help the great majority of people who aren't exceptional. So we need to tailor our view and our procedure with the bigger group who are not so capable. We need to tailor our treatment to be appropriate for them, which means more care and more guidance and more care and more guidance and a bit more compassion, because they need more. Because not everybody can be very strong,
Because what I was saying to him there was the mate that owns a shop. He's been brought up.
Sure.
He's probably got every excuse to say that.
Sure.
The world is not for me, and I'm.
Well, I suppose all right. That's an example, but you don't want to press it too far, because you also you don't have access to the knowledge of what resources each person is born with.
Yeah.
Everybody's unique, and people are to some extent limited by what they've got at any one moment in their lives, and you can't always just pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and make a good go of things. Sometimes you need help.
But sometimes you can't see the future, and you can't see past the you can't
and
see the forest for the trees, so to speak, isn't it?
This boy can't see the future at all.
Yeah.
So, and yet he's not retarded. He's articulate. He's bright enough to respond to you, but he needs help with his resources.
Yeah.
And we can help him.
Yeah.
So we should help him.
The system's too slow. The system's too slow, and
the system doesn't even recognize what we're talking about. It isn't slow. It's not. It doesn't have the resources that it should have. We're paying for the wrong thing. We're paying for chastisement, punishment, prisons, regimes. We're not paying for empathy and redirection and care and guidance. And it doesn't mean no standards or no discipline. You still have the same standards, but there are ways of getting people to do better for themselves.
I think we live in a busy world now, and I think people don't the excuse is time and getting ahead in life, but some of the simple things is time. Just being able to sit down and listen to people.
And time costs money, and to get someone to sit down and listen to this for you have to pay them, and that means you have the mentors, the counselors who aren't there, and it with all due respect, the fact that you can do so well with whatever little training you've had shows that it isn't rocket science. The important thing is giving these people, this is the crux of my whole thing. The important thing is to recognize where these people are and give them attention and affirmation where they are, and then start the redirection, the guidance thing with optimism rather than punitive treatment is a no-go, because all it does is produces recidivism. There's no evidence that punishing.
Yeah, I think one thing that when I was young, I got my first speeding ticket, and actually, I'll tell you what, the first time I drank too much alcohol and got pulled up by a policeman,
Wow.
I blew in the bag and he said, "You're over the limit." And the policeman said, what happens now is we take you to Central and we get you to do a blood test, and basically you're going to get a $1,000 fine, lose your license for up to 6 months. And I said, and I was, by my reaction, the policeman actually said to me, he said, look, let's just say I accidentally dropped this on the ground, because I've got to account for every one of these. And he dropped it, smashed it, stood on it. And he said, now you drive straight home and we'll forget this incident never happened. And
that's incredible.
And I didn't drink drive again. I learned my lesson. He had empathy. And
that's gold.
Yeah,
that's gold. Do you see the difference?
Yeah,
and that's what you're doing. You're saying, I don't mind. You said to him, I don't mind that you punched me.
Yeah,
but I'd like to help you not do it again, sort of thing.
Yeah,
and that this is, that policeman and you and me, we're doing the good work.
Yeah,
and it's all on the fringe. It's not mainstream.
Yeah. And I think
why isn't it?
I used to be a terror in the car, and I tell you what, when I was a terror in the car, I would have been better to get a defensive driving course given to me rather than a penalty for speeding, because then I would have learned how to be a better driver, and I might use more understanding why not to speed, rather than just paying the penalty fine I would have got for speeding. That's the sort of mentality behind it.
Penalty fines are revenue gathering. They certainly, there's nothing in getting the fine that does anything more than create a little bit of resentment for. Yeah. I mean, some people who are very docile might say, "Oh dear, I hate that. I'll never go 51 Ks again."
Well, you resent the system more than anything. Let's carry on.
Yeah, you resent it. Yeah, resentment. Yeah, go on.
Yep, let's do it.
Any other shop owner do?
Because I'm a vigilante, and I go there and I speak when people don't. You are probably a little bit too young to understand, but I was brought up in a religious cult, and I lost everything when I was 23 years of age, and I've had people die and all sorts of shit because of a religion, and I'm sick of people not standing up for what they believe. You have no right to go down there and smash those signs.
Okay.
But you think you do.
There you go. That's gold. You. He said okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He when he misbehaves, he's saying, "Look, I'm doing this shit. What do you think?" Like a young child, and our job is to say, "No, we really don't like that. We're not having that. You can't do that. You need time. You're going to get time out if you carry on like that."
Yeah, maybe it was a cry for help more than anything, and trying to get somebody wants to listen to him.
It is, and it is confusing. I mean, you can see how people could say, if he's testing the system, we'll show him why not and make it unpleasant. But it isn't. His life mess isn't that simple. It isn't about just that behavior. The behavior is a symptom. Symptom of his inability to be doing something different, and that's what he needs, help to want to do something different.
Yeah, And I
to
bet you,
relieve his boredom and his neglect.
I can tell you now that he won't get the help. The police won't get him to sit in a round table. Mum won't allow it. Something will just stop.
No, they won't, but you could. That's right. No, there isn't. We know that. I'm not criticizing the system, although I'm saying that the system doesn't supply. I'm completely criticizing the system.
Yep.
The system doesn't supply what that kid needs, but it's very clear to me what that kid needs, and you are providing that even in this video.
Well, I'm sure he will listen to this, and this is the thing. I want to make sure that you can come and reach out to us, have a chat in the chat box, chat to me on the phone. You've got my phone number.
You want to follow up on this, and it won't be that hard for you to make yourself available to that kid, and he's now you now have a son who depends a bit on you, and that doesn't need to be a terrifying prospect. A little bit can go a long way.
Well, it's just life sometimes, and let's just get on with it. You know what I mean? That's what it's like, isn't it?
Well, there are programs where they allocate a man to a boy who hasn't got a man in his life, and the boy sees this man for a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours a week only.
Yeah, and
it's gold time. The kid remembers those 2 hours every week, and I had the same with my grandfather, whom I hardly ever saw. My father was dead, and I have persistent, strong memories of the few hours I spent with my grandfather as a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
and that's what can happen with this boy.
And it's Big Brother, Big Sister programs that you're talking about. Yep, I know them.
That's right.
All right, let's go. I think I've just hit the knobs, and we might double up a wee bit here, but let's have a listen.
Not really.
Well, that's fair enough. So I'll just go down you're just going to get a criminal record, aren't you? And you're just going to have, you're just going to, one day you will punch the wrong guy. When you punched me in the shop, I said I could punch you and I could kill you. And that was what was meant by that, is you could punch the wrong guy.
Point.
I could king punch you right in the nose. My mate that was just around here before, he was brought up in Wellington. When he was younger, somebody punched him right in the nose and broke his nose, and his nose is still crooked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I don't want to punch you, but what I'm saying, if you're going to go around and be violent, one day you're just going to get the wrong guy, and somebody's going to punch you, and you could be brain dead, mate. It happens. King punch. If you search king punching on friggin' YouTube, and see many people just got whacked, and you're 40 kgs of weight, mate, and you're punching an 85 kg guy. And you don't know who I am or what I stand for, or what my life's all about, or what I have to live for. And I just could have turned around and dicked you, and I could have broke your nose. I could have given you brain damage, because punching somebody is a real violent thing to do.
Then I'll be the criminal.
Mm-hmm. I don't really care about the signs, but we were relatively nice, because people that come along and just whack these signs and do all that sort of stuff. I mean, if you have to do something, there's other things you can do to entertain yourself. And what did you say to us when we said that? You said, what are you going to do about it? What did you want me to do? Come out and say, hey, guys, you know how you're running along and you're trying to smash our sign? Do you mind not doing that?
I don't know.
Well, you should know. You're an adult, aren't you?
No, he doesn't know.
He said no. He said no.
He great admission.
Yeah, he's been forced to be an adult now, isn't he? That's the problem.
I know you. He must have very.
No, he's being a boy. You've disarmed him. He's being a boy, which is
that's
true.
Maybe he's had to grow up too fast. Maybe he's had to grow up too fast. I mean, who knows?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't grown up at all. He suffers from arrested development.
Yeah. When he's 25, I reckon the brain clicks into it.
Yeah, that's right. But putting him in jail isn't going to help his arrested development. It's going to arrest it further. That's why we call it arrest.
No.
I
remember when I was 14, mate. I hated it.
What?
I hated school. I left school at 14, mate, and it was like I hated it.
Well,
I got picked on by everybody.
Yeah, let's not go down that track. That's a whole other story of how appropriate it is.
You can bring me up and do counselling afterwards to me.
Now listen, when you're playing that, am I still on?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, so we can.
Okay.
Yeah, so
The
as
whole
you're
thing.
talking,
All right.
we can hear
So I
everyone.
make comments. It's okay. You don't necessarily have to stop it. But
No.
when you pointed out that you could kill him, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say because you're appealing to his intellect. You're not threatening him
Yeah.
because you're not saying it in a threatening way. But some asshole psychologist would say, "Oh, you shouldn't talk about violence with him." Yes, you bloody should because he's in that arena already.
That's right.
So you don't want to dwell on terror and risk and violence, but you want to point out that it's dangerous
Yeah.
and then move on to the positive. I'm just pointing out how you can be a better mentor because you're already a very good one.
Well, the
Anyway,
thing is, you don't bring a what do they say? You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. So he's talking punches. So let's talk punches back. My punch is bigger than your punch. It could hurt a lot more, you know.
Yeah. No, you're bringing a gun to his knife fight, and that's what he needs.
Yeah.
He needs to know that there are guns for his knife fight because he's piss ass. He's piddly squeak.
Well,
And if he wants to, get involved in effective violence, he either has to join the army or a gang and spend half his life in prison.
Yep.
And neither of those options are probably attractive to him.
All right, we'll carry on. Let's have a look.
Very well at Papanui High School.
I don't go to Pep.
Well, that's not what I heard. Is it Troy that goes to Papanui?
Yes.
Right. Where do you go?
I don't go to school.
14.
Have you already been expelled?
Mm-hmm.
Mate, what do you want out of life?
So, I don't know.
There you go. That's your key moment. There it is. It's on you've got him on a platter. Please help me.
Yeah. I'd love to give him, honestly, I would love to give him some direction. I would love,
my life has stopped. All you need to give him some time. The direction will come automatically.
Yeah.
It's not, as they say, it's not rocket science. It is attention, care, empathy, good listening, and redirection, poignant points when you think they're going to be received by him, because he's tough. He's an adolescent. He's trying to work things out himself. So you can't tell him. You can't treat him like the little boy that part of him is. You have to treat him as if he's the age he is, but bear in mind that emotionally he's retarded emotionally. He's disadvantaged, and that's just why you have to be gentle and compassionate. But you can still be quite firm about the logistics. It's a complex thing. You can appeal to his burgeoning adult intellect, but you also accommodate his emotional vulnerability. Do you understand? I've never said that before, but it's a two-pronged attack. So you respect his mental capacity, but you also honor his emotional needs. Is that good? It makes sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And I think there's taking, like they're not sheep.
And that's what we don't do. Uniquely, everyone's unique, yeah. But what the system does is it only deals with the intellectual part, the analytical part, and they're not accommodating his vulnerability and his arrested emotional development that needs compassion, care, and attention. It's not being weak, showing weakness to be compassionate and caring of him at the same time that you're saying, no, you can't do that, but you can do this. So you have a two-pronged attack. And I think that's the key to changing the system is to point out this dichotomy, point out the two aspects of the two ways of looking at this, emotionally and intellectually.
Yep.
And they sort of cut across each other, so it confuses people. But it needn't. It's actually pretty straightforward. I defused a large number of boys his age who were ready to smash the place up and who'd assaulted people and so on, simply by talking quietly about where they're at in their life, the way you're doing with him.
Mm.
And from that, growth starts immediately, because there's great energy for growth in adolescence. That's what adolescence is for. And guidance is a hard trick for a lot of completely adult people to grasp.
Yeah.
They see it as they're afraid of what they don't know about adolescence, but there's no need to be afraid of it. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, sorry about all the dings. I don't know why it seems to be a highway in my. I don't know if you can hear them, but my
Yeah, I can.
colleagues are sending me messages for other things.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know.
You must know. I mean, do you want a job? Do you want money? Do you want a girlfriend? Do you want a house? Do you want a picket fence? Do you want a car?
Well, yeah, but like,
It's a bit early for that.
Hire you?
I thought I'd see how mature thinking he is and how far down the road he's got.
Not far.
Can my Avengers stop texting me? It's all right, some other people.
You're all over the internet, and you've been, punching. But look at the way that you walk. I mean, I've got some great footage of you, and you didn't seem remorseful when you come into the shop, and it seemed like you had already plotted it, and you've meditated about it, and you've gone and done what you wanted to do.
yeah.
And you were trying to intimidate us with you, because you were like a wee pack of wolves. It's like you tried to intimidate me.
Mm.
I mean, what happened if I was an old lady and you wanted and you were going to steal the money from me? Is that what you'd do? Get your mates to stand behind you while you go into a crime?
No,
Put words in his mouth.
no.
You're
How can
over
I
his
help
head now.
you
You're confused. You're
Be a
confusing.
better individual.
Mm.
You can't.
Why is that, mate?
No one can.
Why? I think you wouldn't have rung me up unless you. I mean, what did you ring me up for?
I want to see what you had to say.
That's fascinating.
He's bored. He's bored, and he has no idea what to do. He just said that he doesn't. He just said that no one can help him. That's so sad. That's such a call for help. Of all things, no one can help me. Someone can help anyone. There's somebody who can help each person. There are many people who can help any person, and he doesn't know that. That's incredibly sad. And that I'm not sure how to recognize that, but
It's interesting,
you
isn't
could
it?
say you could pick that up as a cue and say that's where you're wrong. You must be joking. Of course, somebody or I can help you.
Yeah.
You're not that difficult a problem. You're a problem, but not one that we can't solve.
Yeah, it's not unique. I mean,
Cheer
it's kind
up.
of like you sort
Cheer
of
up.
well, you
Yeah.
can. You can sort of say this is actually you're not unique. We have this quite a lot, and we've got
This problem is not unique. He's unique, but the what he needs is commonplace. It's like we all need food, and he needs emotional food and intellectual food. He needs guidance and he needs sympathy, and those two things together can change his life for the better hugely.
Let's carry on. It was good.
Why am I in the wrong?
You're not. I never said you're in the wrong. I just want to see what you had to say.
That's right. He's only curious. He's
Why
actually
didn't
a
you
good.
put your mum on the phone?
Here we
He's
go.
very positive.
Do you want me to go get my mum?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'm back in a second.
Thanks, mate.
No fear.
Lucky you.
And just for the record, I think he thinks he's got mum around his little pink finger. That's what I think.
Oh no, I don't. No, I don't think so. No, he hasn't got. He doesn't think he's got anything around his little finger. You're flattering him.
All right.
Don't be impressed by his bravado.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see, because this
he
part here.
He doesn't need his bravado to be honored. It's not the part of him you want to encourage.
I was quite
he's
amazed
shown
though with
plenty
the conversation we
of
did have
that.
though. The following conversation is quite interesting.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I feel like I'm doing a science experiment when I was doing it, to be honest.
You are. You're doing a social science experiment.
Here we go.
And okay.
It gets a bit heavy, this conversation too. You've learned a bit more about me, but
I'm
anyway,
sure. I believe you.
here comes Mum. Mum's coming. Hey, Mum, that guy I punched in the face, he wants to talk to you on the phone. I just rang him to see if he'd take the video down. Oh, did you? Oh. All right, I'll talk to him for you then. I'll see if I can get him to take the video down. What should I say? Just ask him to see if he'll take it down. 5 million people have looked at the video. 5 million.
Are you making this up, or is this what he said?
No, I'm making it up. I can't remember what they said. She only listened to this once. Well, no, I don't think I've listened to it back yet, actually.
All right.
Waiting for Mum. We're waiting for Mum.
Has he not got a dad?
Stepdad. Here she is.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Hello.
How you doing? My name is Danny DeHeck, and I work in a shop called Fitness New Zealand.
Yeah.
And your son has been running up down the street, whacking all the tops of the signs and annoying a lot of the shop owners.
Yeah.
And we did sort of relatively ask him quite nice and his mates not to do it. But as a result of that, he's come into our shop. I've trespassed him from the shop. And then as I was trespassing, he's just tried to, well, he's punched me in the side of the head. And now he's run me up asking me to take down the video of him doing so, which is at about, and I was sort of trying to reason with him and understand, like, you know, he's only a young fella.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, you know, what do you want from me being the victim and all?
I mean, I have seen the video. It's been shown to me. I don't really know what to make of it at this point. It's been shown to me in the last sort of couple of hours.
That's quite interesting itself, because this was actually 2 or 3 days old after this, so he hadn't told his mum by the sounds of it. Going by what she said.
I just asked him. He came in and grabbed me, and I asked him if he's apologised to you, like for a start.
Yeah.
And he said that he did. Is that correct?
No. Well, he told me he didn't punch me, and he was just trying to knock my cell phone out of my hand.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like in the video to me from the angle that I seen.
Yeah. Do you think I was at fault with that?
I think he should have walked away, and that's the first thing I said to him.
Do you like that? He should have walked away.
Well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. She's again dealing with the behavior rather than the idea that the things that had to go before he behaved like that.
Yeah. Wait until she finds out that he's been there already.
She's already overwhelmed. She's already accepting that he's a mess, that he's out of control. Yeah. So that's very sad for him. So she's basically subtly acknowledging her total incompetence to be in touch with this boy, her son. You know, and this is, I hate to say it, but this is very common in New Zealand, that this lack of empathy with people even close to them. New Zealanders keep their cards so close to their chest emotionally that they're not able to deal with emotional reality the way that, say, Latin or Polynesian or Indian cultures do better. You know, Anglo-Saxons are not good at empathic processes and resolution and, you know, relationships. We struggle with cultures. We struggle with any kind of intimacy.
Definitely, different cultures would have handled this completely different, wouldn't it? It would be quite neat to get 15 different cultures in a row and go, if your son did this, what would happen? But New Zealand,
she would have. There would be more emotion, there'd be more emotion and more more empathy and more sense of responsibility and more engagement with the whole business. You know, there would be a fury. They would mix up emotion with. It might look chaotic, but they would be processing the emotionality. There'd be a certain amount of catharsis and negotiation of what seeing what the needs were. But in New Zealand, it's all shrouded, so it's unclear. People after this phone call, no one will be much the wiser, even though so much has actually been exposed.
I remember I was in India and I lost my cell phone, so I went to the police station to report it stolen. And while I was there, a guy come in who'd theoretically stolen 5,000 rupees, and the policeman asked him why he stole the rupees, and he said, "I didn't steal the rupees." And then the policeman just whacked him around the head. I was like, "Oh, that's a different way of it." Wasn't expecting that. So it was like, it was like,
Good
whoa.
God.
Yeah. So it was like, different countries handle things in different ways. But there's no court case. It was just let's whack the guy.
I wouldn't advocate that, but I saw a movie of a murder, and there was a big conference, and the evidence and the accountability and the confessions of where people were and what they did were processed, within an hour. That would have taken 2 months of court call-overs in New Zealand, and we would have been none the wiser, as we have been with. Look at I won't go into the Tina Pori and the crew murders and Baines, the child association. We're not. We will. Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not. Let's carry on. Let's listen. Here we go. Here goes Mum.
He should have walked away before it even got to that point.
Did he tell you about the part in the morning when we were out in the street?
No.
Okay.
Listen up, Mum.
So, did something else happen?
Yeah, I mean, they're out in the street in the morning and we were outside Subway, and the lady from Subway on Papua Road came out of the shop to see what the ruckus was, because they were giving us the fingers and saying, "You can't stop us, mind your own effing business, and we'll do what we effing well like." And then he pushed me and kicked me. And then I went back to the shop, and then he went off to pick up the girlfriends past KFC somewhere.
Yeah.
So then we called the police on him at that stage. We've called the police on him twice so far.
Yeah.
We've also gone to Northlands Mall where he's been trespassed already.
Yes, he has.
So, I mean, you don't see a pattern there in a way?
I absolutely do. I don't think that he's a little angel by any means. Please don't think that I do. I don't agree with his behaviour. I'm not happy about his behaviour.
What a distraction.
I know.
Using the phrase little angel. What a stupid
one extreme
idea.
to the other. Let's talk about angels and Satan all in one go.
It's a distraction. She's just babbling and not engaging.
Well, she's making excuses for his behaviour. That's what she's doing.
Not really. She's she's saying that she's denying any responsibility.
Wasn't it kids will be kids is what she's trying to say?
Yeah, that's her evasion of her responsibility. That's a lie. She doesn't think that. She knows that it's bad, but she's refusing to engage with it. Don't you see that's what's happening here? It's about irresponsibility. It's about neglect.
Maybe she's working on averages where the kid's normally okay. So on an average, he's bad in this area and good in this area. So on an average, he's not that bad a kid.
I don't think so at all. No, I think she's just very simply evading the need to engage here. And that's the way that she's been with him since he was bloody well born. And that's why it's neglect.
I love it.
He hasn't been affirmed or guided. She's just been there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Being an absentee mum while she's in the room. I mean, for the poor kid, he has wanted, if another ego of him, an alter ego, would have grabbed his mother when he was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and shaken her and saying, "For fuck's sake, where are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I need you. I need more." And she hasn't been providing it.
I love it.
Emotionally or intellectually.
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza.
there's no bottom in the bucket.
Oh, it gets worse, though, mate. It gets worse. I was actually sitting here listening to this, thinking I was trying to. I'll be honest. I was trying to profile her to think what category mum she was, whether she was.
Oh no, the fucking country's full of them. They're sort of pseudo feminists, and the feminist movement has taken them off the hook for having to do what the woman should do, the mother should do. And they don't have any, they have less responsibility than they did before, and they're doing even less. And New Zealand mothers have not been that high functioning anyway, because their lives have been so miserable. It's been a very tough country for women. And women, I think that's why there's so many divorces, is there's so many girls or young women who get married, their mothers were so miserable that they don't know how to be happy themselves, and it goes on and on. It's very slow to recover from. It's getting better now.
Oh, let's carry on. We're halfway, mate. We've got 14 minutes. Here we go.
I'm at a bit of a loss because I'm not really sure what to do with this kid, to be honest with you.
Again, understatement. A bit of a loss. I'm completely at sea with this maniac child that I don't know what to do with. Like, he's a lot better than she is. He's asking for help more than she is. She's saying, "Oh, I'm not quite sure what to do." Really?
She's on her hands and knees looking for her contact lenses, mate. She's like, "I can't
That's
see."
right. That's right. That's right. No, that's talk about understatement. I'm at a bit of a loss. I just love it. That's so New Zealand. Such a New Zealand getting myself off the hook. Oh, I'm not sure here. Please be gentle. Yeah, don't push me. I might have to do something. I might have to commit.
Yeah. What time is Shortland Street on? Have we missed it? Oh, here we go.
I am really, really sorry that he's done this to you. It's not fair.
So he smashed my
That's correct.
glasses.
You got that right.
They're $800 glasses.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was not me.
Yep.
So, I'm out of pocket.
It's the first good, decent thing that she said is that she's sorry.
He actually just said in the
That's
background, it wasn't me. That was the interesting thing. So he whacked me and the glasses got broke. But at that time, I didn't know what kid I was managed to get the glasses repaired from, him or the other kid that did actually break them. So,
as well. I'm not asking you for money for it. But, I mean, his mate come up into the shop after him, and he didn't leave the shop, and then his mate had to go at me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said to you, young boy, I could have, I actually went to smash him in the face to say I could. I did it. I basically stopped about half a foot away from his face and said I could just smash you in the face, mate, and I could literally kill him. That's what one day will happen to him.
Absolutely.
And I'm, like, I've got a kid as well. Well, it's not my kid, but my partner's kid. He's and if he's going to go around punching people, I mean, I'm not a.
Can I ask how old your kid is?
Well, it's my partner's boy. He's 18.
Okay. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
It's intimidating when 3 kids come into your shop.
Absolutely.
And they physically assault you. And,
I agree.
I picked up your son and carried him.
She's not that terrible. She's not that terrible. She's average. She's an average person, and she's just very, as so many average mothers are not competent.
Maybe they just put a name badge on her and stuck on a name badge and said, "I'm a mum," and she, "Oh, am I? Okay."
And she probably doesn't have the support that she ideally should.
Well, it could be a chain reaction, couldn't it? It could be her mum and her mum's mum, and it just goes on.
But
on.
Also, not. I was thinking more of a man. The boy doesn't have a male role person around.
Yeah.
No one. I haven't heard anything about any father figure yet in all this mess.
No, you've got a stepdad, but I'm not.
Well, there you go. Who knows that?
A partner.
That could be anything.
Yeah.
I had one, and it's a real challenge to have a stepfather situation that works.
Yeah, well, a stepfather's a bit different though. Like I'm in a I don't even know. Like I'm just a partner of my partner, but I'm not the replacement dad or anything like that. I'm just my role is I look after mum.
You're around.
Yeah, and if he needs a guy to change the tire on his bike, I'll help him do it, and if he needs something lifted, I'll help. But I'm not like giving you know, even though I look at him as a flatmate, you know, and that's,
Okay.
you know,
Well,
and
he's older. He's older. We're talking about 14 here. So carry
yeah.
on.
All right, let's do it.
The shop. He wasn't leaving. He was
Yeah.
quite happy to stand in there.
And he should have left. He shouldn't have even entered the shop.
That's right.
And that's what I said
You're
to him. You
correct,
shouldn't have
lady.
even gone inside that shop.
Yeah.
You should have walked away, and whatever happened. But it's on him for what happened. It's his fault. It's not your fault.
She's pretty pathetic. She's pretty pathetic, saying very obvious cliche things that don't add anything to the mix. She's stalling. She's stalling because she doesn't know what to think, do, or say.
Well, I don't even think.
So
I'm wondering if she actually cares. That's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't figure out whether she actually really cared, or she just wanted to get.
That's a very
you know?
it's a very interesting variable that you brought up. I hadn't thought of that. That's terrible.
Because some people want them all the problem to
That's
go
very
away,
sad.
and you're going, well, you know, I'm just, you know,
Who knows? We don't know what her life consists of altogether, do we? No. So
Right.
anyway,
all right,
carry on.
let's do it.
That they were being little assholes, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
Could say that.
Well, no, it's not what they were being. They were being little needy kids in a big way.
Something's
And
lacking.
not. She's dismissing it. She's dismissing it as just something naughty. This is what we do. We trivialize a symptom of a really big issue, problem, a situation that needs attention.
It's
She's
like,
dismissing the attention that it needs.
is it like
she's
cooking
not giving it.
is it like cooking a pavlova and trying to figure out what ingredients we've missed out because it's turned out flat? We've forgot to put the eggs in it, or what are we're trying to figure out what's the missing
No,
ingredient.
she's not. That's what she's not doing at all.
She's not trying to
just
figure it
saying. She's just saying that's a shitty pavlova. So we're going to have strawberry shortcake.
Instead,
You know,
yeah, let's not fix the pavlova.
she's dismissing him,
Yeah,
dismissing his behavior as little assholes, is dismissing care for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't she get that?
just
Well, I
distancing.
get it.
Is she distancing herself away from the situation? Is she trying?
Yes,
to,
yes, absolutely. She's
Yeah.
not engaging with what's needed here.
Mm,
It's criminal.
mm.
It's criminal neglect on the phone. Criminal. It's an admission of criminal social familial neglect.
Is it like
It's
driving
horrendous.
driving a car without a warrant and registration, and then getting pulled up because your brakes didn't work and saying,
No, it's having an accident and taking the injured person to the hospital and saying, the car wasn't very good. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. You don't need an analogy.
yeah.
She's not engaging with her son. That's what's important,
Hmm. Let's see where it goes.
or
What
his
happens if
needs.
He
Here we go.
and his mates decide that they get a bit older in a couple of years and they want to assault some old lady on the road, and you read about these in the paper where some lady,
Absolutely.
you know, this is where he's heading.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through. I haven't done violence, but I bust scams and online, and last year I went through the New Zealand High Court because somebody's trying to sue me for $3.8 million. I know how the legal system works, and I know how the legal system doesn't work. And your son's protected because he's 14 years of age.
That's right. He'll
He
get a
knows
slap in
that.
the wrist. He won't even get that.
No, he won't get anything. So I mean, if I file a charge or not,
He's not actually. I would rephrase it. He's not protected. He's denied treatment because he's 14.
Yeah, that's another way of looking at it.
He's
Yeah.
denied. He's denied intervention and redirection, which
Yeah.
is what he needs.
Yeah.
So he's not. It's not mercy. It's neglect.
I
Let's
like
not
that.
get this thing. Let's not get this out of. Let's call this what it importantly is.
Yeah.
It's not punishing him. It is also not addressing the situation. It's not dealing with him.
Yeah.
They're sidestepping their responsibility as she has for years.
I didn't look at it like that, but that's cool.
And it's intervention, care, and redirection.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is
ICR.
if they evade the system, the good that the system does is also not getting.
Well,
put into
I
the
wouldn't
picture.
put it that way. I'd say evading the system is tantamount. It means that system's way of evading responsibility and not engaging with the problem.
Yeah.
It isn't that, you know, it's a criminal neglect of responsibility. A civilized society has responsibility for its needs. That's why we have hospitals.
Yeah.
In schools, children need education, and injured people need care, and neglected psyches need intervention and redirection. And that third one is what we've got here. It's simple. It's just that we haven't recognized this need before. We have our hospitals and our schools, but we don't have a proper facility or treatment process for these youth criminals or youth crime. These neglected, and often there's abuse as well. This boy probably. I saw, as a 25 years of high school teaching, I saw lots of some abuse and more neglect. And neglect is almost as bad. It leads to depression and uncertainty and suicide, teen suicide. We do very well there, you know, and so on. So we go. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we did actually talk about that before we got talking, didn't we? About the obviously the isolation that these kids feel, and the suicide.
Yeah,
because this is why I actually spent the time talking to the young fella, was because my sister
it's tremendous.
died
You made
by
his
suicide.
day.
You know. But I mean, I've been in that situation, and I've seen, I've heard of young kids.
Yeah.
No, I've seen the young kids do it. I've seen them take their own lives. So is it worth
have you?
a punch? Yeah, I have. I mean, I think a lot of people have. There's I remember there was a kid at my nephew's school, and he was 14. He was the head prefect, and they found him hanging from a tree. And you think, well, what the hell was going on there?
Do they know why?
Well, no one knows why. It's like because I was part of a religious cult, I would be able to name 10 of my friends that I grew up with that are no longer here because they died by suicide. Couldn't live up to the expectations that the religion put on them.
Oh my God!
And I've seen that, and that's what I think.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Well, it is, but it's kind of like where it is at, like loneliness. These kids are feeling rejected. They feel lonely. Yeah. Like you said, isolation's a great thing. I mean, that it might be a cry for help.
There are all these things. And being hungry or not having any things, being poor, being poverty, neglect, loneliness, isolation, loneliness. Yeah.
I went out.
It's like a perfect storm, and then, as you say, he's hanging from a tree, and this kid assaults somebody twice his size who could be potentially very dangerous. It's actually not just a cry for help. It's like a kid's, teenagers, particularly girls, will cut themselves because they feel so bad. They feel so inadequate and so.
And that's
horrible
so common. It's amazingly
unloved.
common, isn't it? They cut the girls.
He was doing that with you. He was provoking you to hurt him because he wanted something to happen in his life, because nothing's going on that's of any interest or that addresses his feelings or needs or emptiness. Emptiness is the other word.
It'd be interesting to know what you think about this comment. We've got a lady from across the waters, not Australia, but Brazil, I think.
Yeah.
She says he's repeating a behaviour he learnt at home. He's repeating a behaviour he learnt at home, at the very least. The entire family needs intervention.
That's possible, but we don't know that. She's jumping a bit ahead. She's jumping ahead a bit to evidence that we don't have. At least the things that I'm saying are true, and she may be right that there are more causes that we don't know. But certainly a lot of violence is patterned. It's like if you bring up a dog by beating it, it will be more vicious, attacking strangers and so on. So or he could have been physically abused, assaulted, or he could have seen physical abuse and assault.
Yeah. All right, let's carry on. Let's go. We've got a few more minutes. We've got 12.
just going to be another misdemeanor added to his list. And
That's right.
the police know him already. But
Yep.
the bigger picture really is like, how can we help? Those kids said I didn't ask them nicely not to stop trying to destroy our $1,000 sign.
You shouldn't have to ask them nicely. They should just listen the first time you speak.
Yeah.
She's just repeating what she's heard before. I don't think there was any heart in that statement, to be honest.
She's hopeless. She's hopeless.
Yeah.
She's not addressing that he's in a state where he wants to do that shit anyway.
Yeah.
At all. She's acting as if this is what happens is people act as if the only reason people don't commit crimes is because of retribution, of punishment. Most people don't want to commit crimes. That's why they don't commit them. And that's why recidivism is so rife, because retribution is not what not committing a crime is. Not committing a crime is having a life that involves enough so that there's no motivation to commit a crime. That's what you strive for. Not it's like the ambulance to the bottom of the cliff. Punishment is not what stops recidivism, because we have 65% plus percent of criminals indulging in recidivism.
Yeah.
So that shows how well prisons work. Punishment is shouldn't be the option that it is.
My sister used to be
In
an
most
alcoholic,
cases.
so she used to go to the dry out centres. But when she she got kicked out of the dry out centres twice and found a whole lot of new friends to hang out with. Yeah, here we go.
Lost, really. I mean, the kid comes in, all intent. He premeditated what he did. He stood there in front of me. I asked him to leave. He's been trespassed from the shop. He smashed me in the side of the head as hard as he could, and then stayed in the shop.
Yeah.
His mate come in behind him, dressed in black and a balaclava.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yep. And
That
then he
was
smashed me
unnecessary.
in the
Big
face
hero.
as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other kid rings me out and asks me to take down the video because he's getting death threats.
Funny.
Yeah.
And I'm the victim?
Yeah.
Or was he the victim because he's 14, he didn't know any better?
Well,
Both.
to be perfectly honest, I think there's two victims, but he's a victim because
got
of his
that
own
right.
actions.
Yeah. How can we what do you think we could do to help him?
It's not because of his own actions. It's because of everybody else's inaction earlier. He hasn't been brought up.
Be interesting to see what she thinks that we can do to help him. I can't remember what she said, actually, to be honest. No idea.
I mean, my story is shocking in my life. I was brought up in a religious cult. My stepfather committed suicide. My sister waited until she was the same age as my father, and then she committed suicide. My real father was an alcoholic, and he disowned me as my father. He died at 53 years of age. I lost everything at the age of 23 because of the stupid religion. I've got every reason to be a little shit.
Yeah.
And I work friggin' hard to to survive. And and I was brought up in a one-parent family. My mum 3 months ago was carted away to a Burwood hospital as a staunch Jehovah's Witness because she was trying to do self-harm and drunk. And I can't even communicate and see my mum. So, I mean, my life's no good. I still don't go to people and say, I'll do what I like. How are you going to stop me and punch them in the face?
That's right.
But I
I think we're getting distracted from what my place is in this thing about youth crime.
Yeah, but it'll come back.
I've perhaps said as much as I can say that's useful, I think, in this blog.
Oh, well, yeah, that may be the case. And we talked for an hour on the phone last week, and I was hoping you'd reach out to me, and you did, and you definitely have offered some really good advice. And it's so cool to hear from a teacher that specialised in youth crime prevention. Would that be a fair statement?
I hope.
Yeah.
It was more. It was definitely pre-youth crime situations in school, which is what the school is there to deal with, and I got pretty good at de-escalating situations so that the kids at the school had some sense of how to move on from having got something wrong at school. In school, it's a protective environment. It's not it's not a disaster in someone else's store or shop like this situation.
And what about your
but-
career? Like what things stood out the most in your career? What difference do you think you personally have made to some individual? Like I remember walking up to a teacher that I saw 10 years prior and said, "Do you remember me?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll never forget you." And I said, "Do you remember Michael Parson?" And he goes, "I'll never forget that kid either." He said he was a kid that was always abusing the hell out of the teacher, would hold his hand out for the strap and get the strap and hold out for another one, But
Yeah.
I'd like to think that, so what do you have moments that in your career that you think I made a difference?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I do. I had a year 9 class, and I came back from lunch, and there was a small fire at the back of the room, and
Oh, yes.
a group of boys were around a nylon backpack that had flames coming off it, but I could see that there was some accelerant. The material wasn't burning; it's something that had been squirted onto it. It was in fact a hairspray.
Great.
So I walked up, and the fire went out.
Yeah.
And I saw the kid who lit it with his lighter, and I said, "Give me the lighter." And he said, "No." And I said, "Well," "You can give me the lighter, or would you rather the police came?" So he handed me the lighter and said, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And I turned around and walked to the front of the room and started the lesson. And I didn't get assertive with these boys. They were standing around, and by the time I was settling the class, they sat down, and that situation was over. And then after the class was engaged with what it was doing, I called the boy with the lighter up, just quietly called him forward, and he came up, and I took him out the front door of my prefab, and I got up close in his face, and I said very quietly, "So what have men done to you that you treat me, one of the nicest men you're going to meet, like that?"
Well done.
And he folded. He looked down and he muttered, "Sorry, sir." And I said, I handed him his lighter, and I said, "How about we go back in and you get something done?"
Good
And he
idea.
was perfect for the rest of the year.
Yeah. It's like my policeman moment, isn't it?
I didn't punish him.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my principal wrote that up in the secondary school magazine for that term as a good example of an effective intervention.
Yeah. I used to light fires all the time, mate. I thought one of the things I would have done was lit the school up on fire, to be honest. I hated honestly, I remember I played with the fire a lot, but I actually hated school because I used to get picked on all the time. And I couldn't learn the way the society at the time was teaching kids had dyslexia. I remember
it must be so frustrating and empty for you.
Well, the headmaster said to me, I said, "I'm going to leave school." And he says, "Well, when are you going to leave school?" It's because you're 14. I said, "Well, I turn 15 over the school holidays, so I'm not coming back next year." And he said, "Well, if you're not coming back next year, will you do something for me?" And this was out of the box as well. And I said, "Well, okay, what?" And he goes, "Can you go to a place called Pitcaithley House?" And it was a place that I went for 2 weeks to teach you life skills, how to be interviewed, how to look somebody in the eye when you're talking to them,
Wow.
how to dress for a job interview, how to ask questions.
Well, those are all very important.
Oh,
better than a CV.
I still use the stuff I learned in that 2 weeks.
Damn right. No. I used to help people with mental illness get jobs, and those are the skills that I taught, not the CV, but the personal skills. It's getting on in the world is a person-to-person thing, and life works through goodwill, not through systems. Yeah.
And if somebody just took one-on-one attention with me,
very good. Well, good. That's a good headmaster.
Yeah, no, it's from Mr. Hay. You see, now I'm 54. I was 14, so that was 40 years ago. And Mr. Hay still stinks out of my brain because he took the time to have that yarn with me.
About 1985 or so.
Yeah, that's right. 84 to be exact. 85, but no, good stuff. Well, I thank you for coming on our podcast. We have actually been talking for 1 hour and 23 minutes so far. I'm not going to play
that's tremendous.
I won't play the rest of the video because I don't think there's any point.
No,
that was
no.
a
it's
conversation. I think you actually called me
yeah.
to stop that at the right time. Probably could have stopped it
Okay,
about a
good.
minute earlier.
Yeah.
But I think
No, it was
yeah.
getting obvious.
And I think
Because we've covered the ground. I mean,
yeah.
I would love to intervene with that kid. I would be able to speak to him. He's very much accessible. He's very accessible.
Yeah.
He's not a hard case. He's not one of the more difficult cases at all. He's just not just. I don't want to trivialize it, but he is symptomatic of a whole mass of kids who need, as I say, intervention and sympathy, redirection, guidance, discipline, control. There are. I don't want to be all softy. I mean, there are skills and requirements, and there are things you can and can't do that they need to think about.
Yeah.
But it's mainly about having someone alongside. That what they need is the parenting that they didn't get. The really good parenting that they didn't get.
I think there'll be with the modern world of technology and social media. I mean, technically speaking, if they had a phone number like yours to ring, and
that's right,
they could talk to a stranger.
Well, you're welcome to give him my phone number.
No, that's awesome, mate. That's really good. And I will. I'm sure he'll watch this, and he knows how to reach out to me. So if he wants to have a yarn to you, I were getting phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning via his peers. We but that's stopped since. So that's the power of social media. Well, we got
but
5
to abuse you.
Well, no, just to be funny on the phone. You know, the excitement of
no kidding.
ringing up a guy that's been on a video that's been looked at 5 million times. You know, let's ring him up because that's like I said to the.
I'm surprised you put your phone number there.
Well, I'm everywhere, mate. You can't hide me. That was the thing. They, like the police rang me up because we managed to find where they live and we put a picture of their house on there, not the street address. And then the police ring up and go, you can't do that. And I go, why can't I do that? And they said, well, you can't let, the mum and the parents are worried about where they live. And I go, well, they know where I work.
You can, well, yeah, but that's you. That's not them. You've chosen to run a shop. It's different. Yeah. They haven't. Privacy is an important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And perhaps don't give him my number until you see, let me know what if he's interested or not, and I'll consider it.
I won't publicise your number at all. No, of course not. But it's if he rings me up and says, "Is it possible to have a yarn?"
Okay, that's right.
Let's see if we can make something good out of something that's not really that bad. You know what I mean? It's not really a big deal.
I know exactly what you mean. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, So that's good. All right, mate. I appreciate that.
All right.
I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time you need a coffee grinder.
No, I just used the little one this morning and it came out shit hot. So I think I've cracked it. I think it's going to be okay.
I used to have a big flash coffee machine, which I call a big flash coffee machine, one that costs you $2,500. And then my partner came along with a $700 coffee machine, and it makes better coffee. It's a Breville. Yep. And
I've got that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got rid of it after that.
I've got that Breville sands without the grinding part.
Oh,
I got the $300. $300 at Harvey Norman. It's a fantastic little machine.
Oh, I didn't think there had enough steam in it to make a good coffee, but it certainly does.
They do. No, it's crash hot. Yeah,
because I had a all-in-one DeLonghi.
They're a bit cheaper made.
Well, they're just not good, and it's more expensive, and it's all in one. But you spend half your time cleaning every time you make a cup of coffee.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
No, I had a little DeLonghi one. The coffee was okay, but the basket thing, it had two little tongues to lock, and it was aluminium, and my brother-in-law, my son-in-law, Madeline's husband, broke it.
Oh, blame him, eh?
So the Breville's one is stainless steel, and it's got 3 tongues, and it's much more robust.
Yep.
Anyway, I'll see you.
All right.
See you, mate. Go.
All right. Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Bye. So there you go. There's my saga. I wanted to show you something interesting while we're still going here. Old Pixel's having a good old bark session, isn't he? If I go share screen and go to window, you'll see my website. On my website, you can actually go along and on the very top hand side of something, you can click on TikTok. It will take you along to TikTok, and you can see I now have 330,000 likes. You'll see some of my TikToks. This is which I'm not showing you. Let's show you again. So here we go. So the first one is Richard in his truck, unsecure load. Told the guy to pull over and fix it. Never happened. Next one is the kids outside the subway. This was the kids that we're talking about on the video here. And the subway lady is telling them just to go off. And if you watch she had to, you might turn.
I know who you are.
Kids at the subways. For some reason, it's just looping and not doing anything. But you can see the kid's got his hand. The kid actually kicked and pushed me. I'm just wondering if that's going to loop again. There he pushed me there, and then he walks up there, and then he gives me a kick as he can. And then the subway lady, well, so that's the attitude of the little kid. And there he is, he kicked me again. So there's no respect there for adults, and absolutely quite incredible. And then if you have a look, where is the so this video actually got removed.
This young fella who was
and that was where the kid actually, oh my goodness,
You have
so this is where the kid actually obviously punched me, and then his next mate walked in, and then the third guy walked in, and he's all dressed up in a balaclava, and then he punched me as well. So that was quite breathtaking. 2 million people have looked at one video. So that video there, with me talking about how this guy asked me to take the video down, 2 million people and 1.5 million people. Isn't that incredible? A lot of people. But if you've got a TikTok account, you'll probably know what that's like. Most of my videos don't get over 300 visitors, but since I've had those ones, I've actually received a lot more traffic to my TikTok than I thought. So I'm just going to stick my TikTok in the chat window, and you can have a look at that if you want. The other one, as you might want to have a look at, is you can actually go to Instagram. Now, because if you might be into social media marketing, you might be wondering how it actually goes. When you go off to Instagram, you can see the same video. I've put it up just recently, 22,000. This had 22. Yeah, so this one here has had an amazing amount of comments. But it doesn't actually say. Oh, it does say. I don't know if I'm logged in enough to say. But I think that it also had 2 million views as well. Yeah, 1.9 plays. And it's been, initial plays was from 872 people, which is quite amazing. Funny enough, I put this video up here of these guys walking down the road. Looks like they're just walking funny style, but they're actually carrying a pane of glass. And I put that video up there just a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, and that so far has actually had 1,700 plays. But when you go back to my TikTok account, and if I go to, I think, yeah, so this one here is the same video, but on TikTok has had 105,000 people have looked at it. So just between those two platforms, I've got basically 1% of the people that looked at this one, 99% more of people have looked at that one. And then if you want to take it to another level while we've gone down this rabbit hole, if you go to my YouTube channel and you look at the shorts, you will see that a video that video there is only 787. So they're all exactly the same. The music is a little bit different because of copyright, you can't do it. And then you've got Richard's truck video is at 10,000 Ks. So 10,000 people have liked this video on YouTube, which is Richard's. And then on over here on the same video, exactly the same video is received on Instagram. 1,700 accounts have looked at it, and it's been played a quarter of the time it has on YouTube. And then if you went to my TikTok account. I think it's going to come up. TikTok account. Yeah, so it's even better. So that one there is 1,200 views. So TikTok hasn't performed as well as YouTube. And this one, I did one yesterday. Oh, that one there. So that was 50,000 yesterday. Now it's doubled. So that there could be another big video. But I didn't have any big videos, except I did have one that nearly reached 1 million. And that was when I was in Bangladesh on my TikTok. And it didn't change my life. But it was interesting to see how much traffic. So when I was traveling in Bangladesh, whoops, you can't see this. Sorry, guys. When I was traveling in Bangladesh, I was putting up a lot of videos of New Delhi and India and the like. But they were averaging about 5,000 a view. Now, I reckon it's because I'm obviously in those countries and it gives a larger reach. But when I was in Bangladesh, I did have one of my videos. Actually, I lie. It was when I was in India. One of my videos got nearly 1 million views, to my disbelief. But yeah, it's a monster, isn't it? Trying to figure out how it all works. I don't know if that's relevant. Anyway, I thought I'd just chuck that in there out of curiosity. But at the end of the day, if you're going to come into a shop and you're asked to leave, it'd be nice to leave. Respect other people's property. Could I have done things better? Yeah, I could have. Like the policeman said, I probably antagonized the kids by throwing water over them. Can I justify my actions? Well, I probably could. I could actually say after 7 days of them running past and hitting the sign, on the 7th day, we got sick of it and we told them to stop it. And did we take exception to telling us to fuck off and what are you going to do about it, mister, and getting right up in their face? I actually told him what I thought of him. I gave him some words he'd probably never heard before. He didn't know how to process that, I believe. And then he pushed me and then he finished up kicking me. And then 15 minutes later, he turned up with another mate that we hadn't seen before who was already dressed up in a balaclava and a what do you call it, hoodie. And he'd let his mate go in first. His mate was probably intimidated by his other mates getting him going, walked into the shop, told him he's trespassed, and then he punched me. And then he stood there and watched his mate come in with the balaclava on. Two of his mates come in, and then he punched me as well. Broke my glasses and never said sorry. Now, what happened with my glasses? Well, these glasses cost $265 for new frames. The lenses were okay. They are $800 glasses. And I actually managed to get, after having the videos on YouTube, the people rang me and told me the real father's name. Now, one of the boys, I won't say which one, his father had their kids taken off them when the kid was 1 year old. He went to live with some family relatives based in Christchurch. And at the age of 9, he lost his, let's say, caregiver and was being brought up with just the male party of the couple. So the one in black actually didn't have the best of upbringings, I know, but then the young guy, the 14 guy that originally started the whole lot off, he does have what seems to be a normal family. And if we listen to the end of the recording, Mum says they don't want for nothing. Didn't know what to do with them. She apologised on their behalf. Never have I actually received an apology from any of the boys. And also now the police have told me that they are handling the situation in the family. And asked me if the kids have caused me any more grief. Well, they did come back 3 times and they still walk past the shop. And we see their girlfriends walking past and they're just kids. So they're just kids and that's fine. I don't really care. That's fine with me. But do respect other people's properties and don't think that you can, every action has a reaction. So maybe this is not the reaction that they wanted. Social media actually worked in my favor this time. Who knows what will work in their favor next time. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in my next live. See ya.